Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to Seriously Fun with Katie and Sarah. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Katie, and it's 2021.
That's
Happy New Year,
crazy.
everyone.
Yeah, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas.
Our last podcast was released on Christmas Day.
Correct.
So we hope you had a great Christmas, listen to the podcast.
Yes, had a Happy New Year, a safe New Year. I can't, the numbers 2021 just do not make sense in my brain.
It feels more like a meme than it is reality.
Correct. I literally, every old person that I know, that's so dramatic. Like, and then I'm about to be like, ask my mom.
Yeah.
So people that are, I asked my mom when I was home, and I was like, can you even like, is that crazy to think like back you in high school in the 80s probably could not even like fathom 2021? And she was like, no. She was like, that didn't even seem like a real year.
That's so crazy.
And she's like, and here we are, 2020. It's just 2020, obviously crazy year, whatever, and was like crazy getting into it. Like, oh, we're not in the teens anymore, but now we're like really in the 20s.
Yeah, it's like when you turn 22 and you're like, I'm not just 21, I'm in my 20s.
Yeah.
Which is just weird. And I totally agree with you. Like when I was in high school, 2020 was like, we're not ever gonna get there. Like we're just
Literally.
not. That is never gonna happen.
Yeah.
Not only are we not in 2020, but we're in 2021.
Correct. When I remember graduating high school, and like 2020 wasn't even on my radar, because when I graduated high school, the freshman class was like the freshman class of 2018 or 19. And so like 2020, because like when you're in school, it's like, oh, the class or whatever. Like
Yeah.
we weren't even above, like we were not even at 2020 yet. So like that didn't even like occur to me in my brain.
I feel the same way because my brother graduated in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have never, and I was originally supposed to graduate college in 22, which and now I'm graduating in 21. It's all fake. I'm not really with it.
And see, even for me, like when I got to college, my graduation year was always going to be 2019. So like I was like, 2019, and then what? Like 2020.
The calendar just disappears after that.
Wait, can we talk about, okay, it's so fascinating to me. And when you were born in 1999, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and obviously I was born in 97, so like I don't remember this either, but when people talk about Y2K, is that what it is? Y2K?
Yeah.
When 2000 came and they like thought the world was going to end, that computers didn't know what they were going to do. Like I wish I could understand what that was like.
Right.
Like because I think it was like people were panicky.
I think so.
Because they like didn't know what was going to happen.
We need like a guest parent.
Great.
We have like one of our.
Everybody here's lit. No, I'm just kidding. There's no one here.
We
need.
Tell us what it was like.
Huh?
Here's like my dad to tell us what he. If I called my dad right now and asked him what was it like from 1999 to 2000, I think it would be actually really funny.
That'd be hilarious. Do you think he'd answer?
Should I call him right now?
Yeah, let's try and call Steve and see if he answers.
What time is it? And what day is it?
It is Wednesday and it is 6:51.
Okay, let's do it.
Is he at church? Does he go to church on Wednesdays?
I don't even know. Hey. Very quick question.
Yeah.
Do you remember what it was like when...
I can't hear you. Hold on. All right, try that again.
Do you remember what it was like when 1999 turned to 2000?
I mean, yeah.
Wasn't it like a big deal?
From what perspective?
Like something about everyone thinking like the computers were going to explode.
Yes. That was everybody was very worried about that and spent years trying to make sure nothing bad happened.
Oh, like up until the year 2000, people were like being prepared for it?
The 2 years before, it was a big push to change everything. And there was a reason why. I'm at dinner. Can I call you after a while?
Yeah.
All right, bye.
Bye. Love you. Okay.
He was probably like, are you serious, Katie? Like, I'm eating dinner. Like, why are you asking me
this? The funny part is like, why are you like, he wasn't like, why are you asking me this?
Well, I thought you were going to be like, hey, we're on the podcast right now. Like, is that okay? And you just like, were like, oh, we're just going to ask. And
no, because he would have been like, what podcast?
Okay, that's dramatic. He knows about the podcast, everyone.
He does.
It's so interesting, like, I mean, obviously we're not going to be here. We'll be long gone for the year 3000.
Unfortunately.
If the earth is even still here.
If
That
Jesus
was
doesn't
very
come
true.
back tomorrow,
You never know.
you literally never.
Okay, that was very dramatic. But I wonder if that like same panic will happen when it gets to 3000, if people are going to be like, ah.
I don't know. I mean, we already went through it one time. The year 3000 by the I can't say Alexa because she can hear me.
Yeah, don't say it too loud either because mine will hear you.
But I don't know. Are we gonna make it that far?
We're not.
We're not. We're not.
We're definitely not going.
Little, it was like my goal in life to live to 100 years old. Like, I wanted to be 100 so bad. Like I thought it was such a flex.
I feel like it's very possible. I feel like people now, like there's people that live very long.
Oh, it's definitely possible.
Yeah. But like I feel like it's probably more possible than it would have been.
Yeah.
You know?
I think so.
Some noise happening outside. I guess it's fine. The other day, I literally thought I was like, the cops were at my house.
Oh.
I had my Alexa on. She just heard me, I think. I had the Alexa on and like to a podcast, and I was washing dishes. And so I was not that I was being loud, but like someone banged on my door, like bang, not just like a little knock, like bang, like a cop would. And so immediately I like freak out, and I like turn Alexa off. I'm like, Alexa, shut up. And then I like turn my water off, and I'm like, what do I do? And then I told myself, I was like, okay, you're an adult. Like this is your home. You're gonna have to answer the door. Like you can't just not.
No one's gonna answer it for you.
Yeah, like I have to answer the door. It was literally FedEx.
Okay, why do they have to do that?
I don't know. Like, I don't know why I had to bang on the door. I was like, are you joking? Yeah. I was like, are you, I just had a literal heart attack and 911 is on the way because my Apple Watch called them. This was so unnecessary. I'm going to bill you with the ambulance bill.
Yeah. Wait, that's not funny because I get scared when people like normally knock on my door. Like, if anyone y'all don't knock on my door. It does really scare me because no one in our day and age, like, you better text me when you arrive. The doorbell scares me. Someone knocking on the door scares me. Just because like I'm not expecting, or when I'm not expecting someone, I'm like, what is happening? Also, something like kind of spooky happened to me and Brienne like it wasn't actually spooky, but we just got spooked.
Okay.
Or like where we live, which back in the day on the podcast, everyone already knows where I live, apparently.
LOL.
Or in my YouTube video or something. Anyway, where we live, it's like not just college students, like families live here. So basically some woman was like knocking on our door and she like had a baby and like we didn't want to answer, and I'm like looking through the peephole, and like Brienne looked, and like we just like scared ourselves. We were like, why is this like woman at our door with a child? And like beating on the door like kind of hard, and like kept like beating on the door. And so we were like, we're scared or whatever. Mm-hmm. Kendall gets home, she beats on the door again, or like this time it's a guy or something, and Kendall just like goes to the door and opens it, and he's like mad because someone is like parked like blocking his car or something like that, and like wanted to know if it was us. But me and Brienne were just some like little scaredy cats, and I was like, just get
So is that what the lady wanted too?
Yeah, I guess it was like his husband, his wife and kid. But it was just like some aggressive knocking.
Yeah.
That we were like kind of spooked by.
Oh, that would totally scare me. I think that would give me, you know how like they always say like the sex traffickers will like come to you with children, so they make you think that like it's safe. That's what I would think. It'd be like, she's gonna kidnap me and like all this stuff.
Yeah. Yes.
That's
so I was
scary.
like, not about to answer the door, sorry.
Yeah, no. And see, I would be less scared with like if someone was with me. Yeah. So see, like maybe in that situation, like if I had someone with me, I would have like just answered the door, opened it, because like, someone's with me, at least we'll be together, like, you know?
Right.
But here by myself, I'm always like freaked out.
Yeah, living alone. That's another level of crazy.
True.
Speaking of living alone,
Okay.
That's not a good segue.
Oh,
Sarah,
okay.
2021, I really want to hear about your 2021 resolutions. I know that you do like a word of the year. I don't know if we're doing that again.
Correct. Well, okay. So,
We're doing it, we're done.
um, yes and no. So, I don't love the word resolutions because I just feel like I like to say goals, hopes for the year, maybe not resolutions, because I feel like whenever you attach that word to it, it never happens. You
I
know,
am
where
with
it's
you.
like, meh. But when you say this is a goal of mine and this is a hope of the year, it just feels a little more real, you know?
Yes,
Because then you're
I'm
like, oh,
totally
man,
with you.
huh?
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I agree. When I was in high school, I like hated the idea of New Year's resolutions. Like I was like, that's
Okay.
dumb. Like if you want to do something, just start whenever. Like you don't need to start in January.
Yeah.
Now that I'm older, I think I can appreciate more like the refreshing
Yeah.
feeling of starting a new year. And like you're saying, like I want to set goals. Like I feel like a new year is a good time. Like even the beginning of a semester though, I feel like I set goals at
Correct.
the beginning of every semester, like any season of my
Yeah.
life. So I'm with you. The word resolution, honestly, I don't even know what that means. Resolve. Like I don't know why it's called that.
Same. Same. So, but I am I'll talk about my goals and then I'll talk about the word.
Okay.
So basically, I need to put myself in some sort of routine.
Okay.
I feel like I have no like good habits. Like I literally just like wake up way too late every day. And this is partly because I don't have a set time I have to be at work. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I can just do whatever. And then I'm rushed in the mornings. I go to work. I come home. I don't really do anything. Like I just don't have any sort of routine. And I need that in my life.
Yeah.
Like I cannot live like this. Can't. Like it's just not, this is not healthy. I can't do it. So this week I've tried. Today has really been the first day that I really did it. But also I told myself, I was like, I have to start working out again. I felt so good when I was working out in Slidell with my trainer Eric. Shout out Eric Schwefel if you're in the Slidell area. Schwefel Strength. You better go see him. He's the best.
Amazing.
But I always just felt so good and like I slept better and like and I was like, I have to start. I have to. Like, I cannot keep living this life. And so I started this thing called Camp Gladiator. And today was my first day. And so I think that's kind of why too, like Monday and Tuesday, I was like, okay, well, Wednesday is gonna be my first day of working out. So that'll be my first real day,
Yeah.
but I like got groceries on Monday and like got good groceries and like I have brought my lunch every single day this week where normally I'd be buying lunch. I
Amazing.
woke up earlier than normal this morning and like drank my coffee here at home and
Wow.
like read my Bible and like journaled all before I went to work. And it was so refreshing.
I love that.
Normally, I'm a nighttime Bible reader, and I'm not saying that like I'm going to do that every single morning. Like I do like reading the Bible before I go to bed as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also not saying you can't do both.
Right.
But I just feel like I hate being rushed in the mornings. And so I was like, no, I need to get up. I need to whatever. And I say early. I got up at 8. But I don't go to work till like 9:30.
Right.
So what?
Right. And I'm saying right, like that's ample time to do what you need to do.
Yeah, and so I got up because I have an espresso machine now.
I just can't wait to hear about this.
We can talk about that later. So I like felt and like I brought my lunch and I had my clothes to go straight to work out and then like just a routine. And so
Yeah.
tomorrow I want to wake up again at 8. I'd like to get to the point where I would wake up at 7:30 to give myself even more time, but we're going to stick for 8 right now.
Yeah.
And I may or may not go work out again tomorrow. I think my body is literally jello right now from working out.
Mhm.
So we'll kind of see how I feel tomorrow. But even just like getting up in the morning. So that's my goal for the year. Let's talk about the word of the year. Normally, I feel like a lot of people do this, and if you are not a Christian, then this is going to sound weird to you, and I'm sorry, but this is how it is. I normally wait for God to give me a word, right? Like, I don't just be like, I'm going to pick this word, right? Like, I
Yeah.
wait. And since January 1, I probably should have started thinking and praying about it before January 1, but here we are. I've been thinking about it, I've been praying about it, and I just have not gotten anything. And then yesterday, this is about to go deep. Sorry, y'all. This is not really that deep, but so I listened. Annie F. Downs, love that girl, has a podcast. That sounds fun. She did 12 Days of Christmas. Her last episode was where her whole staff, it was beautiful, sat down alone in the podcast studio and like told the listeners what they learned about Jesus in 2020. And so Annie talked about how she was like, she's like, it's become so, she's like, my relationship with Jesus is so vulnerable for me to talk about because I got to know him so much like deeper this year. And so she was like, just like I would tell someone about my husband and how I know him so intimately, that's how I feel when I talk about Jesus. And she was like, I don't want to sound weird and like, Jesus is my husband and I'm going to be single. She's like, that's not what I'm saying. She's like, but the same type of intimacy of like, knowing someone so deeply, she's like, that's where I feel like. And so I was like, I want that. Like, I want to know Jesus so much more. So I was like, what kind of word goes with that? And then I've also gotten into this is just a whole lot. I'm so sorry, everyone.
No, I'm really thriving.
There's this book called Inner Wild by Carlos Whitaker. It's fantastic. I think I'm honestly about to buy it in bulk and like send it to all my friends because it basically talks about how it's John 10:10 is like the main verse. Like, you know, the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy, but I have come to give you life and life in abundance, or rich and satisfying life, or whatever version you're reading. And that's kind of the premise of like every day we should be living a wild life. And like when we have Jesus and Holy Spirit, like we should always be like there should be no boring or like, so like how do we live like basically how do we move beyond like Sundays at church are great, like camp experience is great, like what about every day? Which is such a basic concept but it's very difficult to grasp and like understand. And so he talks about in his book, and it's fantastic, the whole book is great, but one of the things he talks about is how every day he was like, when he sits down, he prays, he has this prayer that he prays every day, he writes whatever, and then he tells God like what do you want me to read in the Bible today? Like literally tell me what scripture to open to. And he's so attuned to God's voice that every single day he hears where God is telling him to look in the Bible, and he does it every single day. And I was like, not that I necessarily like need to be told like where to go, because I like to follow plans, you know, like but I was like, I want to know Jesus deeper, and I want to be so attuned to his voice that I can just hear him. And so I was sitting there, and yes, just happened yesterday. Crazy. And so I was just writing about, like, I want to know you more. I want to be so attuned to your voice. And then it hit me. I was like, okay, I'm going to go read John 10:10, because I started thinking about Inner Wild, and I was like, I'm going to go read John 10. Well, before Jesus says that is when he's talking about him being the shepherd and him being the gate, and how the shepherd's flock follows him because they know his voice. And I was literally like, and also when he says like the shepherd knows his sheep and the sheep know the shepherd. And so, and you could totally like fight that and be like, well, you know, that Bible story, your subconscious was like, well, that's what you're talking about. But I wasn't. I was thinking of John 10:10. And so it brought me to John 10, and I was like, that's what
crazy. Yeah.
God, what? And then I literally was sitting here laughing because I was like, God, you're literally probably laughing at me right now because you're like, this is what you wanted from me. I gave it to you, and now you're surprised.
I'm screaming.
So that's kind of my goals for the year. That was a lot. I'm so sorry, everyone. But I don't really have a word for it because, like, what do you call that? You know what I mean? Like, I just want to know Jesus more. I want to get to know his voice more. I want this routine. I almost thought maybe discipline, but that seems way too like strict.
Yeah.
You know? Like a nice word. So I think that maybe this year I might just not have a word and just have these things that like I want to do.
What about like intimacy?
Okay.
Because, like, you said that, and I thought that's when you were going to be like, so my word is intimacy, because, like, that's what you're looking for. Yeah, that's your word.
Katie.
Like, that's
Thank
the
you.
whole point, is that, like,
Thank you,
you're...
Jesus.
Okay.
Yeah, intimacy.
Okay.
Okay,
Podcast.
wonderful.
Podcast. Y'all are, like, really catching us in a vulnerable, like...
The podcast right now is probably like, why? We don't care. Like, why?
No, you better care. There's our hearts on the line.
Okay, intimacy. That's me, my word, intimacy. There we go. Boom.
Wow.
So, all that to say.
Sarah, all that is so beautiful. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. Thank you. And then this morning, it happened again where I was like writing and, you know, praying, whatever. And I thought of a chapter in the Bible. And so I went to it and I was like, why is this great?
Wow.
And I'm not saying that
cool.
I know. And again, I'm not saying that every single day is going to be this like divine revelation, but it's almost just like, okay, what, you know, let me just think of a scripture and I'm going to go to it.
Yeah.
And I also think before someone like comes at me, you know, there's context to the Bible there. You know, when you read a chapter just out of nowhere, there you do have to maybe read some chapters around. You have to figure out context. I'm not saying let's just pull things out of our butts and like that's what we're going to do. But I just thought it was so cool. I was like, man, this is cool. So
Cool.
That's where I'm at. And so today when I got home after working and all this, I was like, today was a good day. I got up early. I did what I wanted to do. You know, blah, blah, blah. I worked out. Like, this is great. We're going to podcast. So, okay, now that I just talked for 500 hours, Katie, let's hear about your goals and your hopes.
Sarah, I love your goals. I love your hopes. I love your word. Mine is fairly similar, which also, if you're not a Christian, I don't know, become one, because like life is fun with Jesus. I'm just saying.
True.
My goal.
Okay. Before we get into this, can you make a note of what time it is so I can go pee so you can cut this out?
LOL, yeah. So, as I was about to say, my goal, like concerning Jesus, my walk with God, whatever, is fairly similar to what you're saying about this book. What's it called? Wild?
Inner Wild. I'm about to buy it and send it to you.
Please do that, or hold on, it's all about to come full circle.
Okay.
My goal is for my devotional life and my time with God to just be like deeper. Like, I don't know if I have a better word for it, but I know you get me because we're very similar. But like, I'll spend time with God, I'll read, even if I'm like having like large quantities of time with God, it can still be like kind of surface level.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just want to like be more in tune with the Holy Spirit and like not be selfish with my devotional time. Like, if the Lord wants me to stay in the Bible for the next hour, like have margin in my life for me to be able to do that. Or like if I'm praying and like I just don't want to like pray for 15 minutes and like it'd be good, but then me just be like, okay, well I did it and like now I can leave. Which again, these are just things that like I feel like I will continuously revisit in my walk with Jesus, because this is like who I am.
Correct.
And things that I struggle with. And so even telling, I'm like, I know people that don't struggle with things like this, but even if I have to, I don't feel shame for like making this a goal for myself, even if I make it every year, because like this stuff is so important to me. And so mine is similar in that way of like, I want to not only seek God more, but like more fully and like more surrendered in that way of like, I'm so here for you. And like, I'm so present, which leads me to one of my other goals, I guess. Cheesy, but like I'm really have been on like a slow like snowball of like consuming less media, honestly. Like over the past year, like I got off Twitter, I don't even know when, like maybe in the beginning of quarantine. I was just like, this is too much, got off. Love TikTok, but like got off of that by like August. And then now podcast, as you know, we brought you through. Me and Sarah had this idea for me to like do Instagram on my iPad, so it's like not as accessible. Long story short, I'm doing that again, but like for an indefinite amount of time, just because I was telling Sarah before we hit record, like I can tell, at least for myself, maybe this is true for y'all too, like I'm scrolling, but it's so habitual that I'm like, it's just like a mindless thing. And it's just, I don't know. Another big thing in my life is just like I distract myself continuously. Like no matter what it is, I'm like need to be talking to someone, doing someone, thinking about something, and I can just it's so rare that I find myself in like a quiet still moment, because I hate that. Like I love for things to be crazy and fun all the time.
Same.
And so I'm trying to increase the amount of stillness in my life, and like it's fine if I need to sit in Highland Coffee for 5 minutes while I'm waiting for someone to show up and like not
look at your phone,
not look at my phone. Or like I think we talked about like in the grocery store, like I'm waiting for the person in front of me, like I don't need to get on Instagram, get on anything. So I'm doing that, and like you said today, and like I was in Austin. It was a really good time, very fun. I also started my new year on January 4th. I was like, I didn't even write my goals until then, honestly.
I think everyone did.
Yeah.
I think everyone started Monday, because who's going to do the weekend? Come on now.
And like, I don't know, last year, I've definitely been like thinking about what I want to do this year, but I just hadn't like sat down and like really hashed it out. So yeah, since Monday, it's been really good. And the flip side of that, or like the cause and effect maybe, is that I do want to read more books, and just like can consume that instead of Instagram. So it's funny, who was I talking to? Have you ever heard of the Libby app?
No.
It's basically just like an app where you can put your library card in and like rent ebooks.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Leave your phone. And so I don't read a lot of like easy fiction books, but I do enjoy them when I do read them. And so that's like gonna be my new like little go-to, like, I don't know, books. Reading this book, Cindy gave it to me, Pursuit of God, A.W. Tozer.
Oh, a classic.
Yeah, a classic. I've never read it though. So last but not least, my last like big goal that I'm trying is, it's still spiritual. Everything's kind of spiritual in a sense, but I'm trying intermittent fasting.
Ooh.
As more of like a health goal, because your girl likes to eat around the clock. Like I am the worst snacker ever. Like I don't eat a lot, but I eat a lot, if that makes sense. And so, especially at nighttime, like I just will have a snack right before I go to sleep, and that's just not healthy for you, apparently.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just know it's not good. So this is another effort and attempt to develop like more discipline in my life. So kings and queens of intermittent fasting, if you're listening, honestly text me your tips and tricks, because I know I've like done a little bit of research, and there are many ways to intermittently fast. Basically what I'm going with right now is doing a 10 to 14 hour ratio of time, so I'm eating for 10 hours, fasting for 14.
Okay. So what are your times?
Right now I'm doing 12 to 10, which that doesn't seem hard, but it actually has been hard already. And so what I've been reading is like start with a bigger window of time and then work your way down to maybe like 7 or 8 hours of eating.
Okay.
Because when you're new to it, like your body obviously has to adjust to not in times when you're used to eating. So I'm just like I'm taking, this is like a step towards like trying to make this like a more sustainable thing. Like if I make it too hard in the beginning, I'll just quit and give up, and it won't work out for me. So it'll be interesting when school starts and I'm not sleeping till 11 p.m. every day, and then having to wait like 1 hour to eat.
True.
I do think that like obviously intermittent fasting, you can make it whatever like is most makes sense for like my schedule. So I do think I'll stay in like the later time frame, because I go to sleep late. Like I don't know. But and I also know that it's still not good to eat right before you go to bed, or like even in the hours before you go to bed. So kind of taking it one day at a time, like very ready to adjust where it needs to be adjusted.
Yeah.
But that is a health goal that I have.
Nice.
I think it'll be good physically and spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Cool.
I think that's like what I'm working towards.
I love that. Ours are very truly similar.
They are.
I think they're very similar, just in different words and like a little different, but
I think kind of like found it differently, but it's kind of a similar idea at heart.
Yeah, for sure. I know it's so interesting because I feel like there's lots of people who will be like, New Year's resolutions, the worst, like, man, which like, I know I just said I don't really like the word, but I don't not do it. I just put different vocabulary to it. Yeah. Where I feel like there are some people, but what you said earlier, there's such a newness and a freshness about the start of the year where it's like, this is the time to start something new. It's just about keeping it and like, continuing it. There's like, what is it, like 21 days to form a habit, which I feel like I try all the time of like, be like, okay, I'm going to read my Bible every single day for 21 days and then I'll never miss a day again. And of course, like, day 7 comes and I'm like, haven't read in 4 days. Like, like, yeah. I also think for me, when it comes to like Bible reading, I put such a pressure on it to be a certain way with a certain Bible at a certain place, doing this certain thing. Yeah. That's not true. Like when I'm in the grocery store, instead of looking at Instagram while I'm waiting, why don't I read a chapter in the Bible? I'm not saying that's probably my only Bible reading of the day, but like those things count too. For some reason in my brain, I'm like, it only counts when I'm like sitting down with the journal and like, but that's not true. Like, so
I think I'm like, we're both like not analyzing ourselves to the core, but my issue
sorry podcast
I set a goal is that it's too lofty. Like there's no like, what are you actually going to do to like be successful in your goal? Like me being like, oh, I'm gonna consume less media. Like that is a lofty goal. Lofty is not the right word.
Well, it's just like, what is it? They say when you make a goal, there should be measurements that you measure it by.
A measurable goal. Or like, I always think of it as like, what are my action steps basically going to be? Like my action is deleting it off my phone.
Correct.
Just like, I'm just not going to go on Instagram. Like that will literally work for me.
Yeah. No, that's like what I'm doing the same thing kind of with, I used to do this and then I stopped doing it, but I have set on my phone. That's actually funny that you said 12 to 10 because my apps are closed from 12 to 10. So I can't access anything on my phone except for like messages, phones, and then Spotify just because I listen to music or podcasts or whatever. Yeah. But I can't get on any other app until 10 a.m. and then past midnight, which really is helpful because I should not be awake past midnight. Like I need to be going to sleep past midnight. And the only thing keeping me up is my phone. Yeah. Well, if I can't be on it, what am I going to do? I'm going to go to sleep. So, and in the mornings, my problem is when I tried to wake up in the past, I'd like wake up early and then lay in bed and look at my phone. Yeah. No, I need to get up and make my coffee and read or whatever, not lay in bed on my phone. So making it 10-2 makes it that I get to work and I start work before I can look at my phone. Because I would also have a problem of getting to work and then sitting at my desk and scrolling on my phone.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
what? Or like same with me, like I'll go to a coffee shop to get work done and then spend the entire I commend you if that actually works for you because I'm positive there's a button that says ignore.
There is on the limits. Okay, so you can make limits on your app where it's like 30 minutes.
You can feel like, and every single day I say ignore for the rest of the day.
for downtime, you have to go into your settings and turn it off. Like you can't just hit ignore. So it's a little harder.
Okay.
But also because all your apps are like closed basically, where you can't even click on the app. Like there's no option to click on the app. Like you'd have to go to your settings and turn it off. So still very easy to just go to your settings and turn it off. But there's just like that part where it's like when I pick my phone up and I'm like, oh, it's closed. Okay, let me just put it down then.
Which brings me to my next topic, which is just like kind of, I don't know, seriously serious. It's not that serious. I've gotten to the point, tell me if you relate. I have wrestled with my like devotional life habits for
wrestled is such a
Christian word.
such a Christian word, but okay.
Wrestling is not a Christian sport.
Correct. But it's like, I've just been wrestling with like that's
I've struggled with honestly just with discipline so much. And the thing that I'm trying to get to is like there are things that we want in life, and it's become very aware to me the things that I want more than I actually want what I think that I want.
Yep.
And I'm tired of that. Like it genuinely frustrates me that I choose the things that I choose over the things that I say are so important to me when they're clearly not. Like the stuff that is important to me, I do, and I spend my time on and I give my energy to. And then at the end of the day, I'm like, you're a horrible person. Well, not really. Like I don't know. You know
no, I am with you, and I literally wrote this in my journal last night about how when my problem is I will always choose people. I will always choose hanging out. I will always choose talking. I will always choose whatever. But then I get home or whatever, and it's 2 a.m. and I'm like, I'm not reading my Bible now. Like, I'm going to bed. I'm not spending time with you, Jesus. I'm going to bed. And I did not want to live with myself, right? I was so against living alone. I was like, I don't want to do this. And now I kind of like it.
Wait, Sarah, that's crazy.
Because like when I lived with people, like it was so hard to find a time to do like devotional quiet time, whatever you want to call it, because there was always people around. And so I'm not going to choose to go sit in my room. I'm going to hang out here and I'm going to talk because that's just my personality. Mm-hmm. And so when I live by myself, hey, well now I still have to choose between TV or on the phone or whatever, but I'm not now having to choose between TV, on the phone, people where, it's like one less thing. And I was like, wow, I actually kind of like living alone because at the end of the day and in the beginning of the day, I'm not tempted by, oh, well, the roommates are having a conversation or the roommates are watching a movie. Of course I have to watch the movie. Well, now it's too late. Like, and so that doesn't solve all my problems, obviously, but it's actually been so helpful, like not living with people.
That's very interesting.
More consistent.
Yeah. Which is kind of, it's so like sometimes I'm like get mad at myself. I'm like, why does it take deleting all my social media just to get to where I want to be? But then on the flip side, it's like I feel like we should be like willing to make big sacrifices for the things that we feel are important. And if it takes that, it takes that. And I think sometimes it takes it just to like prove to yourself how important it is, or like just to even form a habit. Like I'm not saying in July I won't be back on Instagram on my phone, like who knows. Also, I was writing down my goals and I was like, I cannot write 2021 goals at the top of this list. Like that like doesn't sit right with me. I put goals moving forward.
Dead.
Like I'm gonna have different goals even in May. Like when I graduate college, like I will have different goals in August, and so I'm also not the hugest fan of like January to December, like this is what I'm going to accomplish. My life is incredibly more flexible than that. Has to be. I would die otherwise. But I'm proud of us. We're making sacrifices. We're working towards things.
Same.
I have a lot of hope for this new year.
Me too. And I feel like I do every year, but this year, and what's crazy is, so this is my first year in 5. This would have been my 6th year in a row at Passion.
Oh, dang.
My 6th year. So this is my first year not at Passion since 2014.
Dang.
Like, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
And not that I obviously love, and I still want to watch a lot, like, they live streamed that's like all they did basically. And I would like to watch some of it, but I almost was like, this new year's gonna suck because I'm not gonna be at Passion and I'm not gonna start it off on the right, like,
Sarah, what is Passion, just for the people who might not know?
Oh, Passion is a conference it's targeted to 18 to 25-year-olds. But really anybody can go. And it's like a 3-day conference, and there's worship and there's speakers and there, all kinds of good stuff. It's always phenomenal.
And it's typically like starts on January 1st?
It's been different. Last year, it was actually started on New Year's Eve.
Okay.
And so like when 2020 started, we were like worshiping at Passion. But before then, it normally starts like January 1st, January 2nd, like right around the new year. But then this year, obviously because of COVID, they couldn't do it, but they did like a live stream version, which you can still access. So I probably need to do that and watch some of it. But
yeah,
it's always such a great way to start my year, especially the years that we had SALT or World Mission Summits, which is just conferences we had with Chi Alpha, where I did both. And it was like, man, now I'm like really ready. But there was almost like a sweetness and like something different about this year of like, okay, actually, you're not going to get to go to Passion with 50,000 other people. It's just going to be you and Jesus. And like, all right, you got to, let's kick into gear. Without having this mountaintop experience, you're just going to live your everyday and let's still be motivated,
That's really cool.
So, let's talk about my espresso machine.
Please.
I think I'm still
learning. I was
learning.
about to be like, Sarah, tell them what an espresso machine is. I'm just kidding. If you don't know what an espresso machine is, exit the podcast.
I'm not exit the podcast.
Google it and then come back.
What if Lil Huddy doesn't know what an espresso machine is? We don't want him exiting off. Oh, I think I'm still learning, which I think like this is like what I like to make.
Yeah.
Like, I think also, okay, so the espresso has been fine. My steamer / frother, I don't know if I'm doing it wrong. I don't know if I'm not doing it. I don't know. It doesn't really work that well.
Yeah.
But I think it's just my fault. Like, I don't think it's the machine's fault. Also, the problem is I got one of the little milk, like, metal, like, things, but it's too big. And so, like, I don't put enough milk to be able to get the thing. You know what I mean?
I know what you're talking about, yeah.
And so then I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do with this now? Because I'm not going to just use more milk. You know what I mean? Like, here's my question to you. When you steam your milk, froth your milk, whatever, it's on your espresso machine?
No, I told you this when we ate. I was like, I never use my frother on my machine because I also think it works stupid. Like, can't get it to work. It's dirty. I don't want to clean it every single time. It freaks me out that I feel like there's milk on the inside of it for some reason.
Okay.
I have done a multitude of things to froth my milk.
This is coming back to me now. Okay.
Yes. Back in the day, I did try to use the machine. Quickly was like, no. First thing I ever did, I just microwaved my milk and I put it in there. It frothed a little bit in the microwave. It was whatever. Yeah. Next, my grandma got me it's actually a beer frother. Yeah, it's cute, whatever. It's like an electric frother. Recently, Kendall got a Nespresso milk frother. It is the literal fanciest thing I've ever seen in my life. It's like a little cylinder. You put your milk in. There's a fill line for hot and a fill line for cold. Hot, okay. Whatever. Okay, very fancy. You don't need that. You need an electric whisk.
Just a little, yeah.
Put your milk in the microwave, and electric whisk it, and pour it in your coffee.
It steams it like fine. The steam part of it is fine, but with my giant thing, I can't, I just can't reach it. Yeah. But the steam is fine. It's the frother that doesn't really work that well. So yeah, but I'm also just still trying to figure out
the steamer and the frother are the same.
Yeah, but you take the little black thing off to steam.
Okay.
Like because I read the instructions.
I know you probably did.
So there's like a little black thing on it, and it was like, to froth, keep the black thing on, froth it up. To steam, take the black thing off, and that will steam.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so, but I'm also just trying to figure out like ratio wise, like how much milk I like, whatever, because I also need an espresso. I need an espresso like cup,
Yes.
like a glass.
Yeah.
Where do I get one at?
Okay, honestly, so my espresso machine is kind of crazy, and I'm positive yours is fancier than mine. When my espresso comes out, it kind of goes everywhere a little bit. So for a while, I like mine like is better if it's taller because then it will like go more directly into the cup and not go everywhere. I've kind of I feel like it's gotten better, and like I'm just less scared of the espresso going everywhere now. For a really long time, my espresso machine came with a glass carafe that I used for a really long time. I'm over that. It like had the measurement of water because my espresso machine, you have to put the water in every time.
Yeah, mine's not like that.
Right, fancy. I got this cute little glass mason jar, but it's tiny, from Hobby Lobby. It's so cute. I've used it so much that the like peeling of the glass is coming off.
And that's what you use.
I have a bunch. I wish I could. Should I go get them? Should we have show and tell right now?
Show and tell?
I'm really proud of them.
Okay, I'll continue talking to the podcast.
Okay, great.
So everyone, it's just me now. Katie's gone. We can say everything we want. Just kidding. I have no mean or negative words to say about Katie Fisk. We love Katie Fisk, the best. Yeah, the espresso people, I just, if you're a coffee fan and you make espresso, why don't you send me like what you make? Because I feel like I'm just making espresso, milk, maybe some sugar in there, and that's like it. And I just feel like there has to be more out there. Okay, Katie is back, so let's stop talking about her.
Stop. I heard you say sugar. Is that what you're talking about me?
No.
Okay.
All right, let's
click to YouTube. Sorry, podcast. I'll try to explain. So the first thing that I was just telling you about is this little guy. This is the little thing that has a little handle on it. It's really cute. It's like cloudy. Now, that's what I was talking about.
Here's my question. If you're going to use that, do you fill it up?
With espresso?
Yeah.
So like I said, I put water in it every time. So I typically make a double shot every time I make espresso. So I'll fill it up like halfway. But the way my machine works is that like exactly how much water I put into the machine is what comes out.
Yeah. My problem is I think I'm making, and like at some point I'm going to have to probably just show you the thing I have. You know, I pack the espresso in there, put it in, and then all I have are like tiny, like coffee cups, but they're like not that tiny. Like they're not espresso shot tiny, but I fill them with espresso, but I don't think that's right.
Correct.
So what is it? So, but like, wait, hold on. You continue showing those and I'm going to grab the cup real quick.
Okay, next podcast, I'm trying to go in order of like what I've been using. I have 2 other just like normal glass containers that honestly I have no idea where they even came from. I think this one, okay, that's like a teacup.
Yeah. So like if I were to keep using this, like how much am I just don't know how much to fill. And so I don't fill like to the top, but it's like, I don't really know. So I'm just going to turn it and I watch it and then I'm like, nah, I guess I'll turn it off now. Like, I don't know.
Do you see how small this is?
Yeah.
A shot of espresso is probably like a third of this container. Which what's happening is like espresso is supposed to be incredibly concentrated.
Yeah, so I'm just getting not that concentrated stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not bad, it's just not espresso. Huh?
Do you feel like your coffee is weak?
Yeah, a little bit.
Also in your machine, like you control when you turn it off?
Yes.
Abby's is kind of like that too, I think.
Like I have to watch it and then turn the little knob.
Oh, that's kind of weird.
And so that's why too, it's like, well, so then how do I know when it's like, all right, now we're getting into just like not espresso?
I don't know. Like, I mean, in my brain, I don't like measure out like 16 and a half ounces of water. I'm just
you've also been making it for a while.
Yeah. And like go to a coffee shop tomorrow and order a shot of espresso and look at how much liquid it is and be like, okay, that's how much I need to put in.
Okay.
Or since it's
obviously this is way too much.
make it, way less than that.
I'm aware. But every time I'm like, let's just make a little more. Why not?
Yeah. Which, yes. Also depending on, like, in the, I don't know what this part is called. The part where you put the espresso grounds.
And you
Does
stamp
it,
them.
yes, tamper. Does it have, like, a line for, like, 1, 2, 4 shots?
Hold on. Let me just grab it and I'll show you.
Okay.
The
We're
podcast
about
is like,
to end this podcast. Also, if you're on YouTube, look at this one. This is my favorite one. My grandma got it for me. It's a little Pantone swatch in the, look, Sarah, look at this one. It's a Pantone swatch,
Wait.
but it's a little espresso mug. Isn't it so cute?
Cute.
I know.
Okay, so
Let's see it. Also, I don't know if you heard me, but we need to wrap this up.
true. What time is it? Oh, we've been on here for a very long time. So there's one that like doesn't, it does come out. Oh.
Okay, so that's a double shot, and the other one is a single shot.
Okay, so I've been using the double.
Okay, that's good.
So I've been using the double. Maybe I need to put more in it too. I feel like I don't fill it to the max line. Are you supposed to like fill it to the line?
Probably.
Okay. So every time I'm making 2 shots, right? With it being a double?
Yeah.
Oh no, now I can't figure out how to put it back in. Oh, there we go.
I think, okay, yeah, go ahead.
So tomorrow I'm going to do it. So I'll fill it up and then I need to not do as much. So here's my question. Let's say I keep using the double and I get espresso cups. Can I buy a double espresso cup?
Any espresso cup that you buy can fit a double shot.
Okay.
Because we're not supposed to fill to the brim. But, like,
this is stressful.
I don't know. If you really want to get into the science of it, Google how many ounces of water and then, like, just look at it and try to match it.
How am I supposed to do that?
Google how many ounces of water is an accurate shot of espresso. And then get your measuring spoons out.
But I'm gonna make it and then measure it, like.
No, I'm just saying, like, just in your brain know what the amount of liquid kind of looks like.
Yeah, I guess.
And then so you can be like, that's about it. Which, it doesn't have to be perfect every time. Like, if you want your coffee stronger, make it less. If you want it weaker, make it more.
Yeah. Okay.
This is
Good
fun.
to know.
Please, either tomorrow, tonight, send me a photo of your espresso machine, or maybe like make a little mini vlog just for me.
Perfect. Okay, cool. I'll do that tomorrow when I make it.
Cool.
Wonderful. Wow. Thank you for coming on this journey with us, everyone.
Great podcast episode.
We've covered it all.
Coffee.
We've covered it all. I'd also just like to say who dat, and that's all.
Who dat?
Great.
Black and gold to the Super Bowl.
Hopefully. We'll see.
Look, I'm wearing my black right now.
Katie, do you know who we play this week?
Yeah. No, I actually don't. I know that did we beat the Browns really bad? Cleveland? No.
We played the Panthers last week.
Oh.
And then this week we're in the playoffs.
Amazing.
And we're playing the Bears. 3:40 on Sunday. All right, everybody.
Soon to be Connor Carey. If you're listening, I'm incredibly excited for your wedding.
I literally can't wait. Why do I keep forgetting? Wait, that's literally next week.
I'm not like forgetting. I just am very unaware that it is January.
Correct. Wow, Connor, see you next week.
See y'all so soon at the wedding.
Wow, can't wait. So excited.
Thanks, Ash, for listening. We'll see you when we see you.
Bye, y'all.